Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy, and well, welcome back to, the mixer and whatnot, where we talk about the things and the stuff and the cats and the cradle and the silver spoon, rolling on all over the moon. Sorry about that. I don't know what exactly happened there. My mind just went somewhere else completely different. That was a little unorthodox. But anyway, so here's the thing, guys. In case you missed my last video, I did a little, sort of like a little deep dive into the life and career of Michael Orr. A former American football player. And before that, I reviewed the movie that was about him. Starring Sandra Bullock and this and that. And it's actually weird because while we're recording that video, I got an idea for another video to record right afterwards. I originally had another video planned for after this one, but I decided to kind of put this one here in front, because I think it is a little bit related. It's kind of like a spin-off to something that I said in that one, so I'm gonna work on that right now. And basically, it's about the effect of the grade point average, also known as the GPA, in schools and colleges, related to the sports world. Now, I have never understood this, as somebody who grew up in the United States and studied in their schools, since kindergarten, I left the US when I was in my sophomore year of high school, and throughout middle school and a lot of high school, I saw how the sports world behaved, in these programs. Some of my classmates, were trying to get into good varsity programs. I never really understood what varsity is, but I think it's basically when you are playing for the local sports team in your school while also trying to maintain good enough grades to get yourself into a college with a sports scholarship. I think that's actually very common in the US and actually works out really well if you can get a successful route. But I've never really understood, like in a way I kind of understand it, but I also don't. So I'm going to be expressing my opinions about this today, and it's not going to be anything ranty or complaining. So this is not what's the damage. I can easily make this into a mixer video, but I'm really curious sometimes because the grade point average of a student can definitely determine if they're going to get into better colleges after high school. If you maintain a really high GPA throughout all of your 4 years of high school, you can graduate with honors, top of your class, maybe even be valedictorian. The higher your GPA when you graduate, the better chances you'll have of getting into good colleges. That just goes without saying. But I never really understood how and why it affects sports related issues. You're a really good athlete, you play, for example, let's say basketball in your high school team, and you play every single game, your team wins, you score, you're like the unanimous MVP, the best player in the school or even the whole damn state. But then because your GPA is a little bit lower than what's required, you won't be able to go to college and play soccer or play basketball. You won't be able to get a scholarship because your GPA is low enough. Now, feel free to fact check this. If I'm saying anything wrong, you can correct me in the comments, but I have been led to understand that without a high GPA, you can't, even if you're a good athlete and you're excelling in all of your school programs, related to sports, you can't get a scholarship or play ball anywhere else because you don't have the proper grades. This is where it gets confusing for me because grades aren't related to sports, right? There was something in Coach Carter that was related to this. I actually reviewed it some time ago where it's like, the players can play, but only if they have a high enough grade. But he actually does motivate the students to get their grades up, but it's completely unrelated to the sport itself, isn't it? I can understand that you're motivating the students to get better opportunities in college if the sports thing doesn't work out, and that might actually be it, but I never understood why it's such a high necessity if the student wants specifically to, aim for something sports related in the future, Now, this is not something that it's not a mindset that I've developed recently. I've actually always wondered about this way back when I was still in high school, I just never really questioned it, never really researched, There are certain movies that I watch that kind of play around with the idea. The Blind Side is one of them, And in a way, I can get behind the whole let's motivate our students to study thing, so they can have better opportunities, which is something that is explored in Coach Carter because not all of the players are, okay, stop sending me messages. Let me turn off my Wi-Fi here because I'm getting messages here on WhatsApp. Not all the players in Coach Carter go on to have successful basketball careers. I actually don't think a single one of them do play in the NBA, but it does help them to get their grades up and go to college to pursue degrees, you know, in different areas. So I can understand this, you know. I just don't get how it can be attached. Like, for example, if you want a player to excel, if you want an athlete in school to go big in the pro leagues, shouldn't you motivate them to, you know, play the sport more and focus more on that than their grades? Hear me out here. It's not a complaint. I'm not trying to throw shade or say that it's not important to study. I know that it is, you know. I'm just saying, like, a player has, for example, they have a pretty low GPA, but they're like the highest scoring player in the league, you know, whether it's football or basketball, soccer, whatever you want, you know. They want that. That's their objective. That's what they're driven towards. That's what they're aiming for, you know. So they will try to focus more on that. What if they focus on their grades so much that they can't balance it out and their sports prowess starts to diminish, you know? Then it's like, okay, so they had a dream to play sports and you motivated them to get their grades up, but unfortunately they didn't have too much time to dedicate to the sport itself, and now they can't follow that dream because they focus too much on school. So now all they have to do is go to college, you know, and become a regular member of society instead of playing sports. Now, this is not always the case. I am aware that there are many student athletes who, you know, they can balance out both of them very well. You know, I'm not saying that there are exceptions, but I'm not saying that it's all of them. But what I'm trying to understand is how the GPA can, Michael Orr, who played American football, you know, he was in the beginning, he was very heavily, how can I say, he was held back a lot because of his low grade point average, you know. Yes, through the power of private tutors and going to school and studying and really applying himself, he did eventually raise his GPA and was able to play ball, you know. But it's unfair because this guy was meant to play football, even though he had a short career. So what if his GPA had never gone up, you know? Would he not have gotten the opportunities that he did to play football? That's what I'm saying, you know. That's what I'm trying to establish here. Like I understand, it's really fair for you to try to give students a chance to study and be better, you know. But guys, you can go to college whenever you want. Like, I'm pretty sure that there's a certain age for you to graduate high school. You can't just start school whenever the hell you want, you know. I'm pretty sure that there is some kind of a restriction. But college, there's no limit. You can start college if you're 50, you know. So, but if you're young and striving to play a sport, you know, if you have a dream to become a professional athlete in a specific sport and you are striving for that goal and you are working towards it, you do have a very short window of opportunity there, you know, because you have a very short space, you know, in your youth to try to take advantage of this opportunity and try to play the sport, you know. So a student athlete who tries to take the sport more seriously than his studies, I actually think is justified, you know. Like, I don't think that if his GPA is too low, he should be, you know, deprived of a chance to play the sport that he loves, you know, because if he goes big, you know, and becomes a really popular and rich athlete with many multi-million-dollar contracts and a lot of money coming in and good performances, you know, like, I don't really think he's gonna focus too much on studying anything except for maybe, you know, the playbook or something. Let's just try to think about this rationally for a quick second, okay? So try to imagine, for example, that you are an athlete, you know, and in high school you play American football and your biggest dream is to get drafted to the NFL, you know. You work really hard, you know, you're you're the quarterback, the star player, the captain, you know. You throw 10 rushing touchdowns every game, you know. You throw the stupid freaking mirror also, freaking throw this far as hell because I hate this damn thing. You know, you pretty much outperformed everybody in the team. You know, you are the star player. Everybody in school likes you. You're popular, but your grades are unfortunately not high enough to meet the requirement for, you know, the GPA for you to get into a good college to play NCAA, for example. But wait a second, you're the best player in the team. You know, you're one of the best in the whole entire state. You know, you're doing really well. You're pretty much you're kind of like the MVP, you know, unanimous. But then, because your grades aren't high enough, you will not get the opportunity to play, you know, the sport unless you dedicate yourself. So wait a minute. The guy who's dedicating himself 100% to a sport now has to go and dedicate himself to a school as well so he can try to get a high enough grade to go. What if he fails? What if he can't balance out both of them and he actually ends up failing? Then he can't get into a good college, he can't get into a good NCAA program, and then he can't eventually be drafted to the NFL. That's not really fair if you ask me, you know? But then again, what if he had dedicated himself so much to school that he kind of forgot about football? Then he missed the opportunity to play. He lost maybe a little bit of his mojo, you know, or he lost the motivation. Now he got a degree in, I don't know, engineering or something, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not what he wanted to do, you know? So there are some athletes, it depends on the sport as well. Like there are some sports where you don't really need school or scholarships or anything of the sort, you know? Soccer is one of them. You kind of just like go to a tryout, and if you're good, you already get drafted to a team, you know. I think basketball is similar to football. There you can go through a college program and eventually get drafted, you know, but that's a whole other thing. But anyway, what else was I gonna say? Totally forgot. Holy crap, slipped my mind. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of my opinion about this, you know, like I understand why and how GPAs walk alongside with sports opportunities, you know, but I still think it's unfair to pay because not everybody has the opportunity or the means to get high grades or have a tutor or apply themselves or study, you know, but they really want to play a certain sport. So I mean, that's just the way I think, you know. You're welcome to disagree, you know. Let me know in the comments below anything you guys, anything you have to say about it. But let's just try to keep everything PG and friendly, okay? And I'm actually gonna have to get going because I'm actually awaiting. I'm kind of like waiting for a few things to happen today, but I'm recording because the show must go on. And I'm just feeling a little bit down lately, guys. You know, today is a really complicated day, even though I'm on vacation, you know. But I just don't know. I feel so burned out from having worked so much, but I still have to record a few videos, you know. The show must go on. Some of them will be concept vlogs because they're easier to edit, not a lot of photos or videos, you know, but let's just, hopefully you guys are still going to be here and support me, you know, as I climb this last stretch to my 700th video, okay? Anyway, guys, if you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give it a like and also subscribe to my channel because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, you should also hit the notification button to know exactly what time I upload, eh? And that's it for now. God, I'm tired. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.